Apple is playing a game of how hard can we push people to buy things they don't need and just make money off them. How's it going, everybody? It is a sad and rainy day here in the New York Metro. And for those of you that are waiting, I will have a virtual reality experience from the Halloween party, the Trump supporter golden toilet thing that happened, as soon as I can. And for those that are here to talk about the iPhone, let's just get right into it. First, I'm gonna do this. This is the Galaxy S8. It is a beautiful phone with a beautiful headphone jack. That's so wonderful, isn't it? And this right here is the iPhone 7, which is probably going to be the last iPhone I ever buy. Bought this a while ago, and I'm probably not gonna buy another one. You don't see me buying the iPhone 8, and I'm certainly not going to buy the iPhone 10. Now let's talk about why. I know this is old news, but let's go back in time a year and talk about the headphone jack. Apple claimed that it was courage to remove the headphone jack. And yes, many other phones have come out on Android that have removed the headphone jack, but they call it courage. Yet, the MacBook still has a headphone jack. So, they say that they need to remove the headphone jack because it's prime real estate. And they called the headphone port, the 3.5mm jack, a single-use, feature, which is just not true. As a professional user, as somebody who uses my phone for photo and video, I sometimes use professional tools, microphones for instance, or auxiliary cables so that I can play audio for friends or play music, because believe it or not, most technology still uses the 3.5mm jack. The computer I am using right now uses a 3.5mm jack so that audio can come out of my external studio speakers. There's no other port for that. I have to use the 3.5mm jack for that. Not only that, but my car, it's a 2008 Honda Civic. I am by no means a wealthy individual, so I have a nice car. A 2008 Honda Civic's not bad. It drives, gets from point A to point B. I think we can all agree that's a good thing. And if I want to charge and listen at the same time, I need an auxiliary port, I need a headphone jack. Because of this dongle system they've created, I can't do that. Now I know this is old news, but I want to bring it up because we are still in this territory of an inconvenient phone coming out at an exorbitant price, but still selling. Now let's talk about the hypocrisy a bit of the headphone jack. The MacBook still has a headphone jack, and it uses USB-C, which is not compatible with the iPhone at all since the 7. When you buy the iPhone, you get headphones with a lightning port, okay? So that's the lightning port in the iPhone if you're not familiar. Obviously it doesn't fit in the 3.5mm jack, different port. That means if you want to use those headphones with another device, you can't. If you want to use those headphones with your MacBook, you can't. As far as I know, there is no dongle that will convert a lightning port into a 3.5mm jack. That means the headphones you get with your iPhone, you can't use on your MacBook. Now, maybe you don't have a MacBook, and that's cool, but it's kind of annoying that Apple would make products that are incompatible with each other. Well, it's smart though, because they're gonna sell a lot more dongles. Now let's say you want to charge your phone and listen at the same time. There's a dongle for that. So you need to buy a dongle so that you can get your one lightning port to become two lightning ports, or a lightning port and a 3.5mm jack. iPhone has become ridiculously inconvenient. But now let's move on to some of the bugs that I've personally dealt with that have frustrated me to no end. And I'll just say, straight up, this is an anecdotal video. This is me talking about my experience with the latest iPhone updates and why this will be the last iPhone I ever get. Now, there's been a lot of speculation that Apple runs on planned obsolescence, that they purposefully make their older devices slower to force people to upgrade. And this has been debunked, at least by some outlets. They've shown that benchmarks, when they test the speed of the phone, don't change based on the operating system, the new iOS updates versus the device it's on. It stays relatively consistent. However, personally, when the new update came out and I decided to upgrade, I dealt with a bug where I could no longer update my apps, nor could I install new ones. This was very annoying. So my apps slowly stopped working, and I can't do anything to fix them. But seriously, it's a problem when I can't install new ones. I had to do a hard reset, and that fixed it. Next, you have what's very annoying is their Wi-Fi connectivity feature. They call it a feature where the Wi-Fi will disconnect after a certain amount of time, presumably to save battery, I'm not sure. But this presents a lot of problems with the personal hotspot feature. So for one, when I try to tether my friends to my phone, after a while, it just shuts off. The iPhones don't like connecting to each other, so this presents a huge problem, especially as I travel internationally and need the personal hotspot feature. So if it's barely going to work, it's not a phone that I can use professionally, hence I buy the Galaxy S8 for a variety of reasons. Then you have the problem with personal hotspot where, because of this feature, while I'm uploading videos, randomly the personal hotspot just shuts off. And then once hotspot shuts off, the Wi-Fi will automatically connect to some random open Wi-Fi, which first of all, it's a huge security risk. It's very annoying. And you know, honestly, what annoys me to no end with the new iOS update is that from the control panel, when you swipe up, you can't turn off Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. You can only disconnect the current connection. And then the phone will automatically try to reconnect to whatever connection again. So you have to manually go into settings now and turn it off. I've dealt with some small bugs like the keyboard won't appear. Sometimes when I try to open the camera, it just crashes. And I know that, you know, my personal stories about dealing with annoyances might not pertain to you and you might have a pleasant experience. But I just want to say that look, it's my opinion and it's coming from somebody who has been working with tech for a long time. I mean, you know, I've got like my smartwatch, I've got my silly little 360 camera, I've got both phones, and I work with some developers on some mobile apps. I actually have my own mobile app for iOS called Tagly. Yes, I know it needs to be updated, but you know, I work in tech. And so the reason I wanted to make this video is something I never thought I would do or wasn't sure if I would do at some point is because I've always used the iPhone. The camera has consistently been better, and it very well may still be the case, but the Galaxy S8 camera is beautiful. I used it for live streaming and it just looked amazing. I was really impressed with the quality, the speed, and everything about it when doing the live stream. It was impressive. So no, this is not any kind of endorsement. It's just, I kind of reached the point where I'm like, I can't do it again. There's too many problems and I'm not comfortable buying the iPhone X. But let's get into the real issue about the iPhone X. First of all, over $1,000 for this phone. They're setting a new price point for the base model. So sales for the iPhone 8 were really, really low, okay? Making up only about 18% of their quarterly sales as opposed to the iPhone 6 or 7, which were more like half. And this is probably because people are waiting for the iPhone X. When I see that these people are willing to buy a $1,000 phone that is a bit inconvenient, it makes me wonder who these people really are, because we're hearing now that within 10 minutes of the pre-sale launch, they sold out. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean they sold a lot of phones, just means whatever their initial supply was, they've exceeded the demand. And that's a good thing for Apple, but it could just be a lot of PR spin. More to the point, people are willing to spend over $1,000 on a phone when the specs aren't there. I mean, you can compare the iPhone X to the Galaxy S8 and see that it's comparable, and in some instances, the Galaxy S8, it's actually better. Now, iPhone does have some advantages in that because of its market dominance, developers are more likely to focus on that, meaning more rich and better apps. Like I said, the camera tends to be better, and that's really important for people like me, but when you take out the headphone jack, you cause untold problems, and I've got to find an alternative. But when you start talking about the dongle issue, how you can't use the phone with the MacBook, they're incompatible, you have to buy a series of dongles, and this has been a meme for a while, it starts to appear to me that Apple is playing a game of how hard can we push people to buy things they don't need and just make money off them. You're buying dongles now, you're buying headphones and headphones adapters. You need a headphone set for your phone, now you need headphones for your laptop because they're incompatible. And you're gonna buy a $1,000 phone, they've even raised the price point, people are still gonna do it. They're still gonna buy it, they're still gonna buy the dongles, they're still gonna buy the computers, and this is what I call, and what many people have called, the cult of Apple. Because even when the product is inconvenient, offers no real net benefit, people want it. People have always talked to me about why do I prefer iPhone over Android. And even right now, I still really do like the iPhone in my professional work. But we've just reached a point with the price point, okay? When they decided to make the iPhone X $1,000, that's where they cut me off and I said, you know, the cost for buying this phone outweighs the benefits. And yes, you know, I spend a decent amount, several $100s, about $700 or $800 on the Galaxy S8, but it's still cheaper and it has a headphone jack and the camera is good and the phone is smooth and it works. But let me know what you think, comment below. Let's talk about the iPhone because the pre-sale happened, it's gonna be coming out soon and people are buying it. If you're buying it, let me know why you're buying it. Comment below. If you're not buying it, let me know why you're not buying it. And we'll talk about the politics and culture of technology. Sounds fun? You can follow me on Twitter at TimCast for breaking news. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like videos like this. Travel and adventure. Yes, it will come. Today, it's just a rainy day in New York, so I've got some meetings coming up. We'll see what happens, but stay tuned. Virtual experience should be out soon, maybe even before this video. If it is, look for it on my channel. And if you want to support my work, you can go to timcast.com/donate. Give whatever you'd like, give nothing at all. My videos are always free and available every day at 4 p.m. But when you donate, you help me do the work I do. Not so much this work, but the work where I go on the ground and report from big breaking news stories. So with that, I will say thank you all so much for watching and stay tuned. I'll see you tomorrow at 4.